Okay, welcome Anatoly, CEO and co-founder of Force Prime. Thank you for joining us today in our a founder's journey into Bitcoin series. So I'm really thrilled, Anatoly, because this entire series we have people from all over the world doing all different types of stuff on Bitcoin, coming to share their experiences. So hopefully we can together inspire more people to build on the next Bitcoin revolution wave. It's going to be huge, and you've already had a great start. You and your team are doing some great things. But before we get into what Force Prime does, I'd like the audience to get to know you a little bit better, and maybe you could share with us what you did, before you even became an entrepreneur. What were you doing before this? Like before, right? Because we know you're a serial entrepreneur. What were you doing before your first company?
Albert, thank you for inviting, and that's a great question. Before being entrepreneur, I was studying, so I and my co-founders, we started computer science, and our first project, we also started at university. So maybe I can say that I always was an entrepreneur because we didn't really, work some corporation or whatever. So we were trying to build something great from the day one. And we started with some websites. We had one small entertainment social network with the 100K daily active users. It's like pretty big for us. And then after that, we sold it. And after that, we created online gaming studio. So we built maybe 16 or 18 games, social games, mobile games, and in total with tens of millions of users.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So let's pause there, because I have a feeling that you have a lot more experience in that, but let's unpack that for a little bit. So you started as a computer science major in university, and one of the first projects you made got 100,000 active daily users. Is that correct?
Wow. Yeah, but just by chance. That was
just by chance. Okay, but it's great. You sold it, and now you have some success, and then you went on to build a gaming studio, and you build 16, 17, 18 games, right? Almost 20 games. Okay. And was it, did you do anything after that, before Force Prime?
Yeah, right after we decided that we want to build, because our gaming studio, it wasn't really a startup, so it was like a normal business, and and we decided that we want to do something great because we have a lot of knowledge, and we want to to apply to do something useful. And I don't want to tell that games, they're not useful, but I mean something more challenging. And we decided that we want to try to build some startup, and we started with a B2B SaaS communication tool, and with a pretty cool tech behind, but we figured out that because we have lack of knowledge, we spend a lot of time on building product, and instead of validating sales channels and all this stuff. And after that, we decided that we'll just shut it down or put on pause and learn.
Right. Okay. So if I understand correctly, after you sold your first company, you did it more like a traditional business, but it was in the gaming space, right? And then almost like a so when I say business, just to help the audience out, a business compared to a startup is that business is more predictable, right? So you may take on contracts, and for each contract you make money, and it's the growth is more linear. But with a startup, if I understand you correctly, you want to do something more challenging. It's something that probably the world hasn't seen before, and in the front, like, it's not so clear how you're going to become very profitable. But once you figure out the product market fit, then the growth becomes exponential because you're creating exponential value for users, value that users could not get before. Okay. So am I correct to assume this when you said you wanted to transfer so much?
That's absolutely right. Maybe it was a little bit easier for us because we have this gaming background, and when you're doing your game, you're not sure that you have your gamer market fit because
The gamer market fit. Okay.
you have to shut down a lot of games because people don't like it, they don't play it, and it's pretty close to the startup logic, you know. So you have to do a lot of tests during your soft launch. So, but it's still different from a startup.
Yeah. So so it sounds like the next thing you're gonna tell us about is actually Force Prime. But before we get into that, I want to backtrack before university. I'm just curious, did you try anything like a business or something entrepreneurial, when you're a teenager, before you went to university? Like what was your first taste in business, or what started what motivated you to want to try something entrepreneur in university? Did something happen before that?
Well, I was. That's not about like making a business. So it's probably not money wise, but I like to build something since I was child. So I was building from blocks, and then I was trying to build some activities at school, and then when I switched to university, I also tried, to build something. And at some time, we just realized that if you want to build something bigger, you have to do it like a business. Otherwise, someone have to pay for it.
Okay, so it was more like for your passion of you wanted to build something.
Yeah, that's mostly because we want to build something, and my co-founders, they also building something all the time. And even right now, we're building Force Prime, and they're doing some crazy experiments in parallel because they want to also to build.
Okay, so that's very interesting. Is because some people have to make the conscious decision of giving something up to become an entrepreneur, or to take the risk. Take the risk and make the sacrifice to become a founder, right? But for you, it's more, it sort of happened organically, naturally. You're just building something, and that's something that you built happened to have market value. Am I correct? Or was it like, or were you thinking like, I want to build something, but you also sort of knew like, okay, if I'm gonna spend my time on something, I want to make something with market value. Like which one was it? Was it pure experimentation, or did you sort of have an idea like, if you're gonna spend time on something, it's gonna have some kind of market value? Like I want to understand that process. I think the audience is interested too.
We just, and I just don't really I didn't think that I want to build something just to present it to bring life. We really wanted to make some value, and the cool thing here that if you build that something that people really want, they will pay for it. And it's like the same goal. So if you want to get money, you have to build something people really want, and that was our initial goal, to make something useful.
Yeah, I love how you simplified the essence of a startup down into one sentence. Is basically build something people really want. That's really it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's half the challenge. If more founders had that objective of mind when they first started, I think there would be a lot less waste and a lot less failure. Right?
I agree.
Yeah, let's it's sort of simple is beautiful, right? And it almost like can help us make decisions, like how we're going to spend our money, how are we going to hire. It all comes down to, we ask ourselves every day, are we doing things to build something people really want enough to pay money for, right? If we ask ourselves that question every day, it's almost like it takes a lot of the mystery out of building a business or a startup. So with that said, I'm sure that you took that same attitude and philosophy into making Force Prime. So what is that big thing that you're making that people really want, that eventually, like, wow, it's so much value, I'm so happy to pay for it, right? So can you tell me about like sort of how that happened? Because you've been doing this project since last year, right? So there's some evolution, maybe start from the beginning and then work to where you are now.
Yeah, sure. So it's not as easy to build something people really want. So it's something between science and art, I believe. And but yeah, you're right. So because we have our gaming background with like, I don't know, more than 12 or 14 years in gaming industry, we decided to focus on next gen gaming, so Web3 gaming. And because we believe that Bitcoin ecosystem is the future of the Web3, we definitely want to build something great around it. And our initial idea was to figure out what can be done in the gaming industry within Bitcoin ecosystem. And we have a lot of great ideas and huge plans, but the maybe like the biggest challenge is to figure out this single feature that you want to focus on the very beginning and just start with it, because even with our experience and all this stuff and our mentors, we're still struggling with that and always, testing different hypotheses. But the general idea is to make it as simple as possible, both for developers and players, to start the migration to Web3. And that means that we really want to connect developers from Web 2 and Web 3 with existing users and players in Web 3 and potential players from Web 2. And yeah, the single feature that we are like targeting right now is to drive like immediate liquidity and utility for existing NFT and ordinals collections, because we have a lot of collections, a lot of people holding NFTs or ordinals, and the basic utility is like to get access to like whitelist for the next collections, or try to trade them. So, or maybe some gated access to the Discord. And on the other hand, you have a lot of developers, not so many in the Web3 area, but still you have some games, and you have some new games arriving, and you have a lot of Web2 developers and Web2 games that are looking for their like way to start the migration to Web3. And developers, there is no way how developers like from building on Polygon could connect with audience like holding ordinals right now, because like there is just no way. And that's what we're like focusing on right now. So we're building Force Prime authorization API, so that you as a holder of any NFT on any blockchain, ordinals, whatever, you can connect with any game on any blockchain, even it could be a Web2 game, and get bonuses, get some promotion. And we believe that everyone will benefit exactly, because that's like the general
So
problem.
when you say get bonuses, is this like they have to play the game to get bonuses, or do they just buy the NFT and then the bonuses is like automatically linked up and they're getting bonuses even when they're sleeping? Which one is it?
It depends. It depends. So we believe that it should be like a natural order. So we're creating this API, and we enable developers to create any crazy ideas any crazy bonus programs for players and holders, and just offer to community, and then community will decide if they want to get this bonus or don't want. They will go or they will don't go. So that's our general idea, because we don't want to drive these ideas. We want to just enable.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. So you're building enabling technology to make it a lot easier for game developers to create a Web3 game, right? And then this part of this tool is gonna we'll give them a tool set of useful I guess artifacts that users could get benefit from. Yeah, no, that's very promising and very compelling value proposition. I'd like to dig a little deeper into what your first proof of concept is. Maybe you can share, maybe give us an example of how either you guys or the first developer used your SDK and your basically like the enabling toolkit, right?
Yeah,
To
right.
the Web3 game. Can you give us like a before and after, meaning that if they didn't use your SDK and the set of tools that you have now, how long would it take? And then how long would it take now with your tool set?
So our proof of concept right now is that we engaged first Web2 game developer with existing Web2 game, and using our SDK, just like in 1 week, they were able to connect their existing game to our platform, Force Prime platform, and just in a week without any additional like major changes in gameplay, whatever, any investments. And after like 1 week, they are able to connect with the Web3 audience. And right now we have 4 NFT collections that will enable just the next week, so that their holders can log in to this game and get instant packs that will be extremely useful into this game. And because by playing this game, they can compete for real prizes and like real tokens. That's pretty
So
cool.
is that what you mean by Web3 audience? Like, what do you mean by what's the difference between a Web3 audience and a non-Web3 audience? It sounds like you're helping the developer in less than 1 week add some Web3 components that can attract Web3 audience, right? So can you
Yeah,
share with the audience what a Web3 audience is, what the differentiator is?
I believe difference between Web2 audience and Web3 audience in 2 major aspects. First one is that Web3 audience, these players, they're familiar with the Web3 pipeline and Web3 tools. They know that you need to have wallet if you want to do any payments in tokens or receive some incentives. And because that's pretty tricky for Web2 gamers, that's tough to explain. And Web3 audience, they already know that. And the second part is that they expect from Web3 game that they can play and receive some like assets, incentives. They expect that game will offer something.
Okay, so there's 2 parts. One is they understand how to set up cryptocurrency wallets and the pipeline, right?
Yeah,
Of all those things. And the second part is that Web3 audience, they expect to be rewarded.
yeah,
Yeah, in either cryptocurrency or maybe an NFT, or now we have ordinals, right? Is that sort of correct?
yeah, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it sounds like all the Web2 audience people should come over to Web3, because it sounds a lot more, not just more fun. Now you can also have the fun of Web2, but then you can have the bonuses of Web3, which becomes a
Yeah,
no-brainer. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So so you mentioned Bitcoin ordinals earlier, right? And so Force Prime, this could probably work on any platform. But what was your journey into Bitcoin? What did you decide to because it's probably easier right now still to build on other platforms. Why did you want to start with Bitcoin? And why did you activate ordinals? I mean, I think you already activated NFTs before, but why do you want to activate ordinals now? What's this appeal to being in Bitcoin? Because it is more difficult to build right now, right? Although there are
Yeah.
like 1,000 times more opportunities or 10,000 times more opportunities, but it is
Yeah.
it's like a tougher nut to crack, right? What was your motivation there? Is there some deeper meaning to you?
Yeah. First of all, Bitcoin is like the biggest brand, and because gaming is like a consumer industry, branding is everything. And I believe that when we talk about Web 2 to Web 3 migration, trust to the brand is crucial. And so Bitcoin definitely have this, superpower, because like my mom, she knows about Bitcoin, but have no idea about even Ethereum, and definitely she cannot expect that like you have L2s and all this stuff. And on the other hand, community, and I don't want to call it like ecosystem, but community, because definitely have Bitcoin maxes, all these, but the community of builders is different. Maybe because that super early stage on the Bitcoin, or maybe just because Bitcoin attracts different type of people who don't want, to get fast and easy hype, but really, think in like 5 to 10 year perspective, and see that after we'll be able altogether, to unlock all Bitcoin power. All users, like majority of players, will be around Bitcoin, and all money will be around Bitcoin. So it makes sense to struggle a little bit right now, but like it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you definitely don't want to lose in this long run.
It definitely, yeah, definitely. A startup is definitely creating value is definitely a marathon. Um, yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. If we play this out 5 years, 10 years from now, it does look like Bitcoin is going to become the dominant digital currency, at least the dominant decentralized digital currency. And on top of that, I think we don't even have to think 5, 10 years from now. It's sort of like we can ask ourselves, right? The same JPEG
Yeah,
mint on Ethereum IPFS versus the same JPEG inscribed on Bitcoin. Which digital artifact is going to become more valuable? Or even right now, which one like it's the perceived higher value? It's going to be Bitcoin, like you said, the branding,
yeah.
immutable, etc. Right. So if I'm getting prizes as a Web3 gamer, I'd rather get the ordinal versus NFT. So maybe I could see like more tiers, like maybe the basic price is NFT, but like the higher prices are ordinals.
Yeah,
Also, if I'm gonna get rewarded in some kind of crypto, I would much rather it be Bitcoin than a coin that is not as established, right? So I definitely see like where your vision is going here, and I think um, you're a pioneer. I think more and more people are going to wake up to this realization. I think this is the year actually that people will wake up
yeah,
to that realization. Um, yeah, so it's really exciting, Anatoly. All these like the gems that you shared with us, right? One is build something that people want so bad that they're willing to pay for it. The other one is a startup is a marathon, right? And if we're going a distance, we sort of have to think about what the future may look like, right? And then
yeah,
make it educated bet basically. Yeah, if we see that this future is converging, the center will be converging around Bitcoin, then we should start building capabilities to capture that value, to capture that value.
yeah.
Okay, so Sounds like you've made a lot of progress already, Anatoly, with everything you've done with Force Prime. I'm really excited about um, what you've already done and what is about to happen. Because as I understand it, you guys will be releasing some things. But before I get into that topic with you, let's start at the beginning of Force Prime, right? Because you have already sold a successful product before with over 100,000 daily active users. And then you created a successful gaming studio, right? Launching almost 20 games, right? And now you've taken the plunge to build a Web3 startup, right? On Bitcoin or
Yeah.
with Bitcoin at the core and leveraging ordinals, etc. So, but I'm sure that there were challenges, right, when you're starting out the Force Prime. Can you sort of, for the audience, especially for those coming into the space, what were the top 3 challenges in the beginning? Right? Because you over that hump, but what were the top 3 challenges, and how did you overcome those? Well, maybe you could share that, and by sharing that, maybe you can help some people avoid those pitfalls, or maybe have inspiration on how to overcome those challenges themselves.
Yeah, sure thing. So startup itself is a huge challenge. It's always like by design. But when we started our journey of the Bitcoin ecosystem, maybe the major challenge is that you have to switch from your, let's call it, Web2 experience to the Web3 experience, and it's completely different. So you like have to think about that. So you have to learn a lot, and but on the other hand, it's a very early stage of the market, and it's easy to learn. And if you're open-minded, it's totally okay. Second challenge is the technology stack. It's completely different, and you miss a lot of stuff. And the difference is that you don't have like industry standards, and everything changes every 3 months. You have like another technology stack like ordinals right now, and that's something you have to keep in mind. And like the third one, last but not least, is marketing. You don't have a lot of users in the Web3 in general. And on one hand, it's a challenge. On another hand, it's a great opportunity, because you can think about how you can engage existing Web3 audience like in a more efficient way, or how you can onboard more users from Web2 industry. So yeah, maybe those 3 like topics.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that. Excellent. Excellent. And for those, because there's going to be a lot of entrepreneurs and founders like ourselves watching the audience. Maybe many of those are just coming into Bitcoin now. Now, what are some encouraging words, or what are some things that you can do to or say to help inspire them to build the sustainable Bitcoin economy together? What do you have to say to them?
I would say that we have a lot of challenges here in the Bitcoin ecosystem and in Web3 in general, but all these challenges, they are really a lot of fun and great opportunities, because it's really boring, and I'm sure that it's way harder to build something in the market where everything is clear, like it's a lot of competition, and it's really tough. So on one hand, here it looks like that it's like a fog of war, but and you don't see anything. But in reality, there is a lot of fun, and the more important thing is that here you have a lot of opportunities. And the greatest point is that Bitcoin it's already a huge like volume locked, and you have proven market with a huge volume and almost zero apps on it. That's craziest opportunity that you can meet in your life. I'm not sure that I ever faced something similar, because the closest moment in my life was at the beginning of the mobile revolution, and but when it started, like you have very few devices and it was growing, and with the Bitcoin you already have a huge market with zero apps. It's like even better, and I believe that maybe this opportunity to build on another tech, and not only tech but also social revolution, it's a great opportunity that I'm not sure if it will happen like next 30, 50 years. And
Right.
as an entrepreneur, I would definitely do not want, to miss this thing. And my advice: stop thinking, start building.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that, because huge market cap for Bitcoin, but less than 1% of the Web3 activities on Bitcoin. Right. It's almost like Ethereum showed us what works and what doesn't, and now we can build it on Bitcoin only a lot better, right?
Yeah,
Ordinals just a small taste of that. It's become very obvious that the same JPEG discarded that Bitcoin is more valuable. And the same will also be true for gaming, and the same will definitely be true for decentralized finance and other Web3 decentralized applications. Like you said, it's a blue ocean. Bitcoin is massive. A lot of people have Bitcoin, but there are almost zero decentralized apps that allow users to use their Bitcoin. And so the sky's
yeah,
the limit right now. It's really like an entrepreneur's dream to be able to be at the beginning of a entire space that is completely green and ripe for the picking. Right. So yeah, that definitely is um, you know, timing in the market, as we say it, is probably
yeah,
everything else. And if you're watching this, if you're hearing what Anatoly is saying, if you've been following us, then I hope that something clicks in your mind and the light bulb goes off, and you decide to either do a startup to help build a sustainable Bitcoin economy, or you join a startup to help build the sustainable Bitcoin economy. Same thing, right? The more the merrier. And there's
yeah,
definitely, like I said, way more challenges than solutions. But that is an entrepreneur's dream. Right? If there's no
yeah,
challenges, then the entrepreneur has no opportunity. So there's like so many opportunities, and we need more people to build these opportunities.
yeah. So true.
Yeah, that's so true, right? So tell me about, we're about to wrap up. Tell me a little bit about what, can you drop any alpha about Force Prime? Like, maybe you can talk about it from a few points of view, like what can users be looking forward to? What can the developers who use your SDKs be looking forward to? And perhaps maybe there are some strategic partnerships, or maybe some people want to work for Force Prime. Maybe you can sort of give us an idea of what's going on those fronts, and let the audience know how to contact you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So, like, Force Prime is really a great entry point if you want to start your migration from Web 2 to Web 3, especially if you're doing something in gaming. Definitely reach out, and like, we are able to bring your game live for the Web 3 audience in a week. So that's no-brainer. And also, if you have any NFT collection or any Web3 app, you should definitely like think about using Force Prime ID solution now to connect with the new audience, because like in 1 week or 1-2 weeks it will be released, and will definitely drive a lot of existing communities to like Web3 apps on other blockchains. And also that's a great point. And if you're building something on the Bitcoin, you're looking for audience. That's also a great point to drive existing communities from Ethereum to your apps. We're totally open to chat, like reach out to Force Prime account on Twitter or my personal account on Twitter, DMs open. And we're also open to any collaboration. And if you want to build some enabling technology on the Bitcoin in gaming, it sounds crazy, but that's the future. So definitely reach out, and we're happy if you join us.
Yeah, I think gaming is the future. And I believe that one, gaming on Bitcoin is a massive opportunity, and you're very lucky to have gotten in so early. At the same time, it's not too late for people to join, right? We're still early stages right now. As you said, we only have a few apps right now on Bitcoin, right? Versus tens of thousands on Ethereum, right? So there's a magnitude of a few hundred. Huge opportunity there. Actually, I think the gaming space in the future, you know, the best way to learn things is to, you have fun, and then you're able to learn things faster, right? And more effortlessly. So I believe that in the future, education, maybe even the Bitcoin Startup Lab, will start making it more and more fun, right? Making it more and more engaging. It's a gamification of education. And then education probably wouldn't be like so boring anymore.
Yeah, so true. It's like, tell me something and I will hear it and make it interesting, and I will learn it myself.
Right. And maybe the last thing, this is a little bit, we finished, but I think this is also important to mention. It's because I think some of the audience are investors, right? So if you're an investor and you're watching this, I want to do a big shout out to Anatoly, CEO and co-founder of Force Prime. They started from an idea at the Bitcoin Startup Lab, and they're one of the top teams. Pivoted several times. Was the first one to launch, right? Either the first or second. I think it was the first one to launch on the mainnet, right? And then to show that the business model works and that users want to use what they're building. And now they did a great job to push things forward with their team, and they got into the Bitcoin Frontier accelerator, and also got the first round of investment. So if you're an investor, you should also keep an eye out on Force Prime, or even reach out to Anatoly and find out what him and his team are doing, because you definitely don't want to miss out on Bitcoin GameFi. Okay, this is a massive opportunity. And if you're watching this, then you have the opportunity to get a front row seat on this. Okay, so with that said,
so true.
Yeah, go ahead. Like, any final word?
Yeah, I was just wanted to mention that if you really don't want to miss the greatest migration of the game industry, that's right time to join Force Prime as an investor, as someone who wants to build, or as a user.
Excellent. Thank you, Anatoly, for coming on the show. And again, guys, keep an eye out on Force Prime. And again, Anatoly, CEO and co-founder of Force Prime. Thank you, Anatoly.
Thank you, Albert.